turn it up.
How's that? All right. Um, we are going to start off the ceremony with a prayer from Dean. If you'd like to come up, please.
Thanks, Peter. I just wanted to make a remark or so. I remember Jeff so well when he grew up in Hollyview. He was a boy about this tall, and I remember he. Okay. I remember he loved to sing, and there was a singer at that time named Don Francisco, and he sang a song, He's Alive. And Jeff stood in front of the church and he sang it with all of his robust he could. He's alive, he's alive. And he was talking the songs about Jesus, he's alive. And uh, now Jeff has met him face to face. So he is alive. Let's pray. Our Father God, we just thank you that you are the creator of all things, and this beautiful outdoors, you have created it. And we thank you for the life of Jeff Bright. We just pray you would take care of him. He was alive. And Lord, I just pray for Rose, especially as she has lost her son and her husband in a short time. Just, Lord, comfort her, be near her. And for Raynell, Jeff's sister, Lord, just be her comfort. And Lord, for all the friends here, Jeff, relatives, we just pray your blessing upon them. Take care of them. And we just commit this day to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Watch your feet, watch your feet. I'm gonna take it.
All right. Rose would like to come up and say a few words.
No, she wouldn't. Ah,
We're all crying. So
yeah, I know. Kind of. All right, I will do this. Okay, here's the snot rags. Oh my goodness. I'll get it together. Wait a minute. I had Elise told me a trick. She said, "Drink the water. You won't cry." So here we go. I wanted to thank each of you for coming today to help us celebrate Jeff's life. I would like to say thank you to so many people for helping make this happen. Dan, would you stand up? He's standing back there. Dan, master pulled pork chef and grocery shopper. Even though he is healing from 2 carpal tunnel surgeries, he still pulled this off. Matt for sharing your talents, and Matt's back there with the camera and videotaping all of this. Dean for being willing to come and open the prayer, and which we needed a lot. For Pete, who graciously, without even asking, offered to MC and do Jeff's eulogy. For the setup, the takedown crew, which were both my grandsons, Morgan and Ken, Ken's fiance, who helped me so much, and her name is Dakota, the Daniels family and Sandy, Raynell for planning the celebration and doing so much of the memorial table and everything. She just pitched in and helped, even though her heart was broken. Elise, even after surgery with so many complications, she still gave us moral support when we needed. She never let us down. And last but not least, Greg. Where's Chris? There she is. Greg and Chris, they offered, this is their home. They offered this setting for us together, a place that reminds us of what Jeff loved. Chris pulled the food together, the flowers together, the pictures together, the video together that you'll see on the table over here. And Greg even made this podium for us to use. The fire that's over the hill over there threatened their home. They had to come home and pull plants out, pack their van, be ready to run because the fire was coming. But they kept on task and continued to help through this entire time. And if I've missed anybody, please forgive me because the mind doesn't work really well now. I know it was a little bit of a trek to get here, but this is where Jeff was the happiest. This is where the mountains were, the forest was. He loved fishing and skiing and camping and hiking. And a lot of these places he went to were right around this area. So, this was perfect, absolutely perfect. So here's your instructions. If I start to lose it, and I will, turn to your neighbor and finish that conversation that you were going on with before I interrupted with this thing. And this will give me a little bit of a chance to gather myself. August 2023 is a date I will never forget. But some of you may not even know this, but 17 days after my son died, my husband died. And, it isn't easy to face two deaths that close, two deaths of people that mean a lot to me. It's a lot of grief to swallow. But I know Jeff and I know Bob would say, you can do this. So this is for those brave men who fought a good fight so bravely, but lost anyway. I have heard so many stories about Jeff in the past weeks, about how he was liked and loved by so many. And that means more to me than if he's rich and famous. That touches a mother's heart so much. He was a good friend. He was helpful. He was so helpful to so many. And, there was so many stories that I heard that no matter what, it's not here. Part of my speech is not here. Well, crap. Anyway, so I'm going to have to make it up now. Oh boy, are you guys in trouble? Anyway, he had a few demons in his life that most of you probably know about, and maybe you don't. He along towards the end, he was in a lot of pain for a lot of difference, not just because of his cancer. He had 7 fractured vertebrae. He had so many things going on all at once. And he was in so much pain, and they would only give him so many pain medications. So what he did was he continued to drink to help ease the pain. He fought his alcoholism for years, and he tried to quit. But the pain always came back, and the pain always won. He was an amazing man. His favorite words were, "It is what it is." But he kept trying. He kept fighting. He kept standing there and trying to move forward. If you get nothing out of what I'm saying, please remember, alcohol kills. It killed my son. Be careful. Jeff didn't want to die. Jeff wanted to live. Jeff had plans. Jeff never gave up hope. Jeff was strong. Jeff was weak. Jeff was a father. He was a friend. Jeff was a brother. Jeff was a son. Jeff will be missed by all, and I love him. You didn't tell me it would do that.
Okay, I'm done. And you're lucky I missed part of the speech. It would have been a whole lot longer and you would have had to watch me cry a lot longer. You got it? Thanks, Elise. It worked, sort of.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Hello, my name is Peter. We are here to remember and celebrate the life of Jeff Bragg. It is our hope that in every part of the service, we will honor a life that was lived among us. The journey of grief is long, and those who walk it should not walk it alone. The people here today, and those who cannot attend, want to be available to you as you face this journey of grief. We are here to honor a man who touched many lives. We will hear stories that will make us laugh and cry together and acknowledge that he made a difference in our lives. To know Jeff, we will start at the beginning. He was born January 26, 1972 in El Centro, California. The family moved to Oregon, where he grew up to be the person we knew. Jeff attended Damascus Deep Creek School, Damascus Middle School, and graduated in 1990 from San Barlow. During his life, he wore many different hats, and hairstyles. He raised show pigs with the 4-H, traveled to Mexico for a mission with the church. Jeff was mechanically inclined, working on his own vehicles or helping friends with others. Not always with the best results. I've seen him repair fenders with a 2x4 and a ball-peen hammer. One of the favorite things he loved to use was black electrical tape. He was not a duct tape fan. He loved black electrical tape. He had a sandrail that he worked on more than it ran. Built a go-kart for his son Kenny from the ground up with safety devices of Jeff's own making. Jeff was a talented graphic artist. He would be asked by the hospital where Rose worked for to create and design illustrated material for their meetings. He learned how to weld and create metal art, designed and built trade show displays. Some of the other things that he did, he worked in construction, was a bouncer at Rock and Rodeo, and was on the Oasis Outlaw dance team, which is a country line dance team. One of the top things that Jeff loved to do was ski. He started out as a young boy, or at a young age, cross-country skiing, but found it too slow and boring. As he grew up skiing, he joined the high school ski team, and then afterwards became a ski instructor for a couple of years. He would also teach his friends how to ski, which they would end up at the top of the ski bowl, and he would tell them, "Go that way really fast. Something to get you in your way. Turn." One of his biggest idols was Glenn Blake, which, if you didn't know, had a mohawk. And Jeff at one point had a mohawk. Along with skiing, he loved the outdoors, camping, fishing, and hiking. Jeff was many things in his life, but most of all, he was a son, brother, a father, and a friend. He was quiet, but he was also the center of attention. Jeff had a big heart and would go out of his way to help someone if they needed it. In the end, he will be truly missed. For those whose lives he's touched, they will be blessed. And I have a poem here I'd like to read. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. All right. At this point, we're going to have an open mic here. If you would like to come up and say something, please come on up. If not, if you want to leave a personal voice message back over here on the table, there's a microphone set up that you can leave a message or a story of your choosing. Matt back here is going to be videography. So if you would like to do a video story, please see him. We were going to do a video of Jeff's life up here, but unfortunately we had some difficulties getting it to show up on the screen. So when we wrap things up here, we're going to put the video, the computer over here on the remembrance table, and please stop by and take a look at it. Is Dean still here? Dean, can you please come up for a closing prayer?
I just want to say one more thing. Um, the only time in the Bible that Jesus ever cried was that when his friend Lazarus died, and he wept. And that's really meaningful because Jesus didn't want death either, and he overcame death. And that's why there's life eternal afterwards. And I just wanted to share that. So let's close in prayer. Our Father God, we just thank you that you are the comforter. You love us more than we realize. And you loved us so much you gave your life for the world. And you arose and showed us that there's life after death. And we thank you for that. And all of us are going to face that day someday. But there's a better day coming, and we will live with you. So, Lord, bless each one here. I pray your blessing upon the food that we will partake of. And we just commit our lives to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. On behalf of the family, I would like to thank everyone for coming out today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah. Gave us like 2.2 seconds to go on my take. Yeah. Well, it was easier sitting back there trying to,
That was true.
yeah, getting ready to say something, and then we got up here.
Yeah, that did change a spoon.
Yeah. Okay.
Elise, Chris. So we went to high school with them. Maurice. He was like a brother to me. Met him my freshman year. And I don't remember if he introduced me to my husband or I don't know how I met the other class, but he never left my side through any trials or tribulations. But I thought I'd follow up with the break a car story. So my dream car was a black rabbit. Wanted it so bad. And if you don't know what he did to vehicles, he turned them into Top Gun. He added switch and knobs and buttons and blues alternators all the time, lights, speakers, basses. So he told me he could fix my rabbit. And he and my brother, who's another classmate, worked on my car. And so he's like, it's ready to go, gave it a tune up, drove it around the block, stopped working. He didn't check my oil and crack my block. And then immediately went, whoops. Which is one of the many, I mean, we could tell stories that he can't yell at us about. But all in all, I want to thank Rose and Reed now for letting me be there with him through the end, and Kenny. It was a privilege and kind of a curse, but loved him with my heart. Do it again in a heartbeat. Can't replace him. Literally, I've told Rose, I don't know how many times when she gave birth that God literally shattered the mold and was like one and done. Because he just had so many sides of him. I know you have stories. Water.
Okay.
Here.
No, I got it. Okay. All right. Okay. Met Jeff in high school. Met him on the ski club bus with that guy over there. And we were almost like the three amigos running around doing skiing and hiking and camping and he was always just a guy I could turn to, I mean, he was the trustworthy guy. I could say I'm having a bad day, or I could say, I mean, he would always have a goofy joke, or whatever. He used to like to ask people, because we were on the ski team together then. He graduated a year before I did. And my first year in college, I found out that you could take this class at Clackamas Community College to learn to be a ski instructor. I'm like, well, heck, and I got credit for it, so that was really cool. So I drug Jeff into it with me because I didn't want to do it by myself. So we both became ski instructors for a couple of years together. And there's actually video that I put out on Facebook of us when we were kids. I mean, we look like kids, I mean, we thought we were, adults, whatever. Yeah. But we taught at Timberline together for years, and the video that it's on Facebook, if you guys ever want to see it, I can show it to you guys. There's a video of me recording Jeff as we're sitting on a ski lift, and it was the Poochie lift, and he was going on and on about his animated, ability to just voice over whatever was going on. But anyway, it's kind of weird. It was the Poochie lift, the lift that we have right here. This is a ski lift from the Poochie chair that my husband got me as a wedding anniversary gift because I taught Greg how to ski on the Poochie lift. And I didn't even remember that being in the video until I found it and I was playing it, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it's the same chair. It's the same, it's Jeff has always been there. And I know I'm like babbling, but if you guys want to sit somewhere that Jeff sat probably 100 times, as on that chair, feel free to sit on it. My husband surprised me with the chairlift for, like I said, anniversary. Another thing that I just loved about Jeff, he would ask all these guy friends to come over and meet him at his house, and we're all going to go skiing. And then he would always say, my ski buddy Chris is going to come over too, and we're all gonna go. And then I would pull up, and I was a girl. And his friends would go, wait a minute, that's a girl. And he's like, just wait. Just she'll out ski you guys, but it was, I always felt, he always made me feel important, that, it's stupid. These are his skis, he had an outlook that he was going to go skiing this year. My youngest is a ski racer, and he started tuning up his old skis, and he was going to put new bindings on it to go skiing this next winter. And he never completed it, but the mono board over there, that was a gift from Rose, that Rose should come up and talk about the mono board because it's a really cool backstory. Jeff gave it to my daughter, who's a ski racer, and I kind of like fun poked him, and I said, hey, you were supposed to give that to me. And he's like, oh no, I can't trust you on it. I was irresponsible, but he'll give it to Sophie, because she's more responsible than I am. But anyway, so that's, did you just say that?
No.
Okay. She said it was true. Anyway, those are the skis are out for Jeff. Jeff also loved to fish, and Rose made a beautiful bouquet with his fishing poles, as a reference to his fishing and his cowboy days. We made a bouquet of flowers.
He was really into Comic-Con, if you didn't know that. He was born to play dress up, I think. Because from the moment I met him, we wore neon throughout high school.
Well,
We had the neon.
Dayglow.
So we were called Wavers, our group, which basically we listened to Depeche Mode, The Cure, whatever. But the uniform of the day was either Was it? It wasn't acid wash, was it? Acid wash jean jacket that you draw on, which we all drew on. Day glow jeans, black shirt, neither boat shoes or a black trench. Those other, and then I can't. Oh yeah, I can't. The bangs. He had an Aquanet. So like it was like a bill of a hat. So when they ran, their literally bangs would like move like this, which morphed into cowboy and line dancing and oh yeah, the long hair, do rags,
Yeah.
Comic-Con. But so that's part of his Star Wars.
Yeah, Star
Love.
Wars stuff over there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna open this up. Who's next? Come on, Aaron. Oh, sorry.
Because you said I had to.
Yes. Yes, you have to. Your brother spoke. Now it's just
Aaron, pressure's on.
the lady here in the second row. She's gonna be next.
All right, so this is my brother. I'm the better looking of the two. So I've known Jeff for as long as I've known him, just by him. So, but I didn't really get to know Jeff really well until I started working at Rockin' Rodeo. So who all here was at Rockin' Rodeo? Right? So you know the whole crew out there. So I remember I came back from basic training in tech school, got a job doing HVAC, and then I wanted to do something else because I wasn't making enough money. So Pete said, "Oh, you should talk to Jeff. Maybe he can get you on as a bouncer." And I was not big. I was like maybe 155 pounds. I'm like, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's just do that because I think bars are awesome. So yeah, started working with Jeff at Rockin' Rodeo and decided one day that we were going to go out to Promontory because I think you were leaving to go to Colorado to go to school. So we're going to have a big going away party for him for Pete. So Jeff gets in his crappy Toyota truck that he had. There's a lot of crappy vehicles in Jeff's life, I feel. In fact, I think one of them is under a tent in Peter's backyard at the moment, and it's in about 100 pieces. So we'll see if that ever gets running again. Anyway, so we go to Promontory, and there's like 9 of us. Dan's there, Pete's there, I'm there, Jeff is there. Spanky, do you guys remember Spanky? So Spanky's there, and I bring him up because it's a very important person that was on this trip. So there's like 9 of us there. There had to have been about 45 guns. I think that was another thing that Jeff really enjoyed was firearms. And that rubbed off on a lot of people. So we proceed to shoot bar stools that we had stolen from Rockin' Rodeo. One of them had a 2-liter of gasoline and a shotgun, I think, was involved. And yeah, so we shot for about 2-3 hours and then decided it was going to be a really good idea to go 4-wheeling. And people decided they were going to stand in the back of Jeff's truck. And Spanky, then we decided to go through this little mud puddle. And I think I said, we should probably figure out how deep this thing is before you go through it. Somebody gets a stick and they go, "Oh yeah, it's good. We're fine. It's only like maybe 12 inches." So we go through. Spanky's on the right-hand side, holding onto the roll bar. The truck goes in and it drops down like this. He falls out and Jeff runs over him and pushes him about a foot into the mud. Comes out the other side, and we're like, "Where'd Spanky go?" He's pulling himself out of the mud. That I'll never ever forget. Jeff gets out and he goes, "You're all right. Let's go." So, and then Jeff and I left Rockin' Rodeo and we started working at Bushwhackers. So we were the first bouncers at Bushwhackers when that first opened up. So, and then I think you were still gone. Jeff and I got tickets to go to Country Fest in 1997. So we decided before we go to Country Fest, we should probably go out and go shooting and drinking, maybe a little camping. So we end up in the hills over here somewhere. I don't know where we were. We shot for the day. I think each of us had a sleeping bag and about a 12-pack of beer and no food. And we spent the night up there. No tent, just had to sleep on the ground. Woke up the next day, went home, went to Rock and Rodeo, woke up the next morning, went to Country Fest, and then that night he's like, "Hey, let's go to Bushwhackers." And I hadn't been working there since then. So we go to Bushwhackers. I decided I got to rest my liver a little bit, so no drinking for me. And that is where I met my wife that night with Jeff. And Taco was there. You guys remember Taco? So Taco says, "Hey, this girl's looking at you. You should probably turn around and introduce yourself." I thought he wanted to talk to her. So I turned around and introduced myself, and I turned back around. And Jeff was like, "No, dude, you got to turn around because she wants to talk to you, she don't want to talk to him." So dated my wife for a year, got married, or no, got engaged. And then the next day, we went camping with Jeff and a couple other people. And so Jeff was there when I met my wife. He was there right when we got engaged. And yeah, so great dude. Love the guy to death. I wish I could have gone skiing with them, but I was never allowed. I was like this big, not this big. So, but yeah, he'll be missed. But there's a lot of good memories with Jeff and bouncing. I think there were a lot of fights there as well, but that was part of the fun. So no dancing, no fights. It was a clean cut, wholesome place. Anyway.
His mother went there. It had to be.
Oh, did you get in a fight?
No, I just danced there.
Oh, good. Yeah. So that's just some of the stuff that I have from Jeff. But I was able to see him. I saw him at Pub 212 about a month and a half ago. He came in and I sat down and was able to talk to him for about a half an hour. So that was nice to be able to have one last talk with him. So I appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. No tears. No tears.
Well, hey.
Do you need some water?
Well, if you notice, Aaron is still this tall.
Well, I knew Jeff when he wasn't even that tall. He was always happy. He was always living life as he wanted to live it. He believed life was meant to be lived, and he did it. And then he got sick.
Welcome to business.
You can do it. I did it. You can do it.
He went from a little boy climbing trees with my son to a man out on his own, doing his own, and loving his own. When he got ill, Jesus came and he said, "Okay, son, no more pain, no more strain, no more stress, come with me." And he did.
Okay. I'm going to tell a funny story. So, I'm Alicia. I've known Jeff for about 30 years. It's going to be funny, I promise. I was a nanny, okay? And I had a dog. And I couldn't take my dog with me. I was traveling cross country. So Jeff said he'd take my dog for the summer. I was nanny cross country. I left. My dog was so spoiled. Jeff and Ray never had dog in their house. Dogs weren't allowed in the house. They weren't allowed to sleep on the bed. Ray had my dog sleeping on his bed when I came back. I came back and I asked for my dog back, and he said no. He told me no, I could not have my own dog. So we had joint custody of my dog.
Half the time my dog would live over there. Half the time my dog is in my house. He told me he took my dog to Rock and Rodeo and had him in the truck. And after the bar closed, the dog would walk around Rock and Rodeo. When they're cleaning the floors, my dog is walking around Rock and Rodeo. And so we did. We had my dog is buried up at his place. And the next year after we buried my dog, they planted grapes, I guess. And the grapes there just took off. The rest of the branches didn't take off. That branch just took off. So yeah, we had joint custody of my dog.
This is going to be very hard to talk about. I might cry during this. So,
Okay.
my dad was a great man. He taught me a lot of things as a kid. First car was from him. It got stolen from the driveway from a tweaker. Posted on Facebook that, hey, someone stole my car. And we found it like 5 blocks down the road. Tweaker ripped the tires off and took the rack. And me and my dad were searching for that rack for months afterwards. Gave me crap about it the entire time. He's like, you got my car stolen from your driveway. I'm like, I'm sorry, you gave me a Subaru. So, and second car came from him as well. He gave me his truck. Never told me that the thermostat was broken on it. So the truck overheated and broke down too. Still gives me crap about that one to this day. And so I was like, Dad, you're always bad with cars. You always give me the broken ones. And then we went to go fix the car that I bought. He ended up trying to give me some things and gave me a package to help me with it. He always did that. He always helped me with my car. He always gave me something to make sure I didn't run out of oil, didn't run out of coolant. We'd always check my car, make sure it ran well, and he just taught me a lot how to take care of my car. And even though he still gave me crap each day, he'd call me an idiot and say I broke my car. And well, I always give him crap because he'd always break things too, like his sand rail. And that sand rail never ran right. We had one time he told me this story fondly. It's when we were down at the sand dunes and he had the sand rail and he goes and he gets up to a hill and he guns it and we're wheeling up this thing and he tells me that I turned and looked at him and just an angry face. He could see my eyes through the goggles I was wearing in my helmet, and I just told him, don't do that again. My dad told me I scared him, even though I was a little man about this tall with a helmet on, and we did other things. I know my mom came home one time when we were staying at home. We were riding the ATV around, and on the driveway there was a little jump that you could hit and fly over it, and my dad was doing it, and I'm going, again. And my dad loves this story. He'd go through, again, he's like, higher. And so finally he's flooring this thing, and he's gun it, and my dad's sitting there, he's got me straddled between his legs as I'm sitting there hanging onto the handlebars, and we get there, and he takes off, and I go to infinity and beyond, and I stand up with my arms out. And my dad is holding on to me with his legs, and my mom comes around the corner right as we're in the air, several feet off the ground. I'm standing doing this, and my mom was mortified. So was my dad. Oh, he's like, I slept on the couch for 3 weeks. He loved that story though, and we had several different stories after that. We had one where we went camping, and no, I know Ranella knows about this one. The mushroom man that came around. Oh my gosh, so we went camping. We went somewhere up in the mountains and somewhere just off in the middle of nowhere to go squatching, of course. And we're all in there. We're all sitting around the fire. Ray's there, Renella's there, just a few people were sitting there, and we put plates up with arrows pointing because we had another group coming in later in the day. Well, here comes Mushroom Man, as we called him. This dude just followed the plates and said that they were glowing and pointing him to the direction of the campsite. And he goes and offers us some shrooms and starts talking about just random stuff about the Bible and everything like that. And we're going, this man is crazy. And we're all sitting there, all a little bit of us are shaking up because we're like, what is this guy on? And he offers us mushrooms. We go, no, we're good, buddy. You can just. He's like, I'm going off to this lake, and he just takes off in the woods, just gone, just meanders off, and we're like, okay, this man ain't coming out of the woods. And that was a fun story. That we went camping. We ended up hiking around with Bailey and all of them. We all went all over trying to find this lake. Of course, my dad gave up because he hurt himself by getting a little stick to go into his leg, and he was crying about that. he, he was sitting there and he's like, I called out in distress because I got stabbed. I had been impaled. And oh my gosh, it was funny. He ended up going back and sitting down at the camp. He was like, I'm hurt now. We can't go. So we called him a wimp and continued on, went up to the lake and came back down. And of course, at that point, I had taken the rum with me. And so I get back and my dad goes, where's the rum? Why is the rum gone? that was that was a good time. But all I have to say though is he was a great man. He taught me so much, and he loved me with all of his heart. We did so much together. He just taught me so much, and he at the end too, he was just he he said he was very proud of me for what I've become, and just what he taught me, and how he just showed me responsibility and helped me through life, and showed me just what it means to have fun but also be responsible at the same time, and having passion for what you desire and striving to get to that point. And he just cheered me on through it and helped me get to where I am today because of him.
Let's see how we do here. No, I'm okay. I'll take it. I'm Greg. I'm Chris's husband. I don't know if she ran off on me. One of the first times I met Jeff, he probably taught me one of my first lessons as a parent. I didn't have any kids. Chris did. We were going camping with Kenny and Johnny and Lee. And we're driving along, and for some reason he starts singing the SpongeBob song at the top of his lungs. And I'm looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? And he was, was full of enthusiasm and everything for Kenny. And I didn't understand that until I had to saw it myself. I went, Chris is getting wrong. And that just, he showed how much he cared about his kid. He just, like, connecting with him in such a simple way. And that will always stick with me. That connect with your kids in any way you can. And be with your family and love them as best you can, even if it's simple, stupid ways like singing his little music. So I don't know what else to say.
Perfect.
That's the one thing I really remember about him. I didn't know it was wrong with everybody else, but that's the one thing he taught me.
Thank you. I don't know you all very well, but growing up in Oregon, knowing Jeff and what a good guy he was, that doesn't happen without a good family, good community. So I'm honored to be with you all. I knew Jeff for about 5 years, and we worked together doing trade show booths, and just a very talented guy. And when we first started working together, I could tell he was interested in doing more creative work, but he was a little bit skeptical. And I kind of said, man, I think we can do some really cool stuff together. And and we did. We achieved that. We did some really great work, a lot of really creative stuff, and I would kind of come with these projects and crazy ideas on how to build stuff, and he would figure it out. And he was just really steady with that, and I really appreciated that about Jeff. And we instant friends, and I share a lot of the same things that I liked about Jeff that you do. But the thing that I remember most about Jeff is a little bit after he died, I picked up a tool that he had given to me at one point, a tool that I never used, was using it for something, and I think something just came to my head, and it was like, the greatest thing about Jeff was that, you know, he had terminal cancer, as we know, but he still had dreams. And that's just inspiring, you know, and he achieved those. You know, it was great because he wanted to travel. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, shouldn't you be resting? You know, you're dying, man. But sure enough, a couple weeks after I went and saw him one time, and one of our clients called and was like, we need Jeff, you know, we need him to manage. And I'm like, well, Jeff's not feeling great right now. And, you know, and they're like, you're great and everything, John Paul, but we need Jeff. And so I talked to Jeff, and he was on. He did it. He went down there and he supervised the project. A tough you know, it's always tough at that trade show. It's crazy, but he did it. He did he hit Disneyland again, and, you know, wonderful trip with his sister, his new love, and, you know, he was planning to get married. He texted me and invited me. And it's just a great lesson, you know, that we're all dying, you know, eventually, but don't stop living, you know, and don't stop dreaming. And my favorite movie quote to kind of lighten it up a little bit is Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey. What does he say? You just got to keep on living, LIVIN. And I just really appreciate that about Jeff, is that he just was always looking to enjoy himself and have a good time on his terms. And I'm inspired by that. And again, I'm honored to be here. And here's to Jeff.
I'm Janet. Sorry I'm late. I had a meeting in Hillsboro. Took a long time to get here. I grew up with Jeff at Hallview. And first memory of Jeff is when we were the pastor's wife had us kids do like these musical things over the years. And Jeff and I were both chosen to be the lead in the musical. And I had to sing a song. And the pastor's wife who's directing it said, okay, I want you to hold Jeff's hand. I'm like, you know, I'm in second or third grade here. It's like, boys, ew, yuck, I don't want to touch his hand. And I was like, I'm just going to stand here like a stick and hold his hand and get through it. And I'm like, oh, finally, it's over. But anyways, couple things when we were in high school is Jeff did like jokes. He liked to pull jokes a lot. And the youth group, we went to Sun River for like a weekend retreat thing. And we were supposed to bring a white elephant gift. And so I'm like, okay, white elephant gift, something really small. Jeff brought this great big box. I mean, that big. It was that big. And we're like, what is in there? What is it? And you know, I'm like, I don't want something big like that to take home. And you know, it's funny because we took the church bus at the time. So this box was at the back of the bus. And everyone's talking, well, anyways, when we do the white elephant gift thing, And everyone's taking their turns. And then someone took the box. And we're like, okay, that person's brave. It was a used tire. We were just dying. But and then also we went on a mission trip to Mexico as the youth group, and Jeff was on that trip. And we were not allowed to bring any secular music with us. It all had to be Christian music. And I don't remember where we were on this trip, but just like, okay, here, take this cassette. We're gonna play it. What is this? This is so cool. And the group was called Undercover, the Christian punk band. And we get back, I'm like, Jeff, I need a copy of that tape. He makes me a copy. And I'm listening to it over and over. And I come back to him, I said, Jeff, I need to look at the liner notes for this cassette. I want to know what the words are. And he's like, I don't have that. I'm like, why? And he said, because I got this copy from somebody else. It took me years to find a copy of the CD because, cars don't come with cassette tape decks in them anymore. And so I'm a librarian, so I did something called an interlibrary loan where you get something sent out from another library system someplace in the United States. Not getting a copy of this anywhere. And I did, and then I think at one point I did get the CD. I don't know what happened, but after I heard about Just Passing, I'm like, I want to listen to that music because that music always reminded me of Jen every single time. And so, anyways, just a couple weeks ago, I'm like looking online, trying to find, it's not in iTunes anywhere. Somebody, bless their heart, whoever that person is out there in the world, they took that music and they made it into a YouTube video so that I can listen to it on iTunes in my car. So thank you, Jeff, for that. Thank you.
All right, I'm not great at this public speaking stuff. I'm going to stare at you, Dan, and I'm going to say, Dan, you're going to get your butt down here and you're going to say something next. Because if anybody has got a good story about Jeff, it's going to be Dan. I don't know him as long as a lot of you. I don't know going to church Jeff or skiing Jeff, and I love hearing these stories. Thank you so much for sharing them. The Jeff I know is the camping, fishing, zombie apocalypse Jeff. So real quick on that note, I met Jeff through Dan, and we've had a lot of good camping trips and barbecues and big tables the size of those packed full of guns and shooting and target practice and fun. And we had one trip where we were camping and we were doing normal camping things. It was probably Jeff's idea. We're doing an axe throwing contest, and something came up, and my husband goes to our Jeep and he opens the door and he reaches over the roll bar and he pulls out this machete. And I'm like, what the heck? He says, yeah, it's probably been there for a year. Why do you logically need to carry a machete in your vehicle that's your daily driver? And I think Dan, Jeff, and my husband in unison said, well, the zombie apocalypse, of course. I mean, you never know what's going to happen when. And so I know the prepper guy, and love my friends dearly that are just like my husband. And we had a barbecue at Dan's house, and my husband couldn't go. I think he had to work. And Jeff says, I wanted to show something to Sean. I brought it to show him. I was really excited about this. And he pulls out this vest. Is it bulletproof?
Yeah.
Bulletproof. Okay, so it's a big metal plate. And he's handed it to me. You need to tell Sean I really wanted to show him this. And so he hands it to me and I take it. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's wow, that's really heavy. I'll tell him about that. Well, no. You need to put it on. That's okay. I don't need to put it on. No. You need to have the full effect. I really want you to be able to tell Sean about this awesome thing I have, and he'll want one. And yeah, he probably does. So he proceeds to put this on me and strapping it down tight. So, snug and you can't get out of it. And then he grabs an axe. It's always axes. And so he grabs an axe and he just kind of barely taps me in the middle of the chest. Tang, and I feel this. Okay. Sorry, was that loud? So, yeah, well, yeah, this is really strong. Get this thing off of me. And no, but you can't even feel it, right? No, I'll tell Sean all about it. I can't feel it. And well, here, let me hit you harder. And he, kind of, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm ready to take this off now. No. And so about when he's got both hands on the axe and he's really ready to whack me, I kind of start running away. And he proceeded to chase me over from behind our vehicles over to closer to where Dan's barbecuing. I grabbed my friend Candace, who was there, and said, Candace, help me. And I kind of run in circles around her and he's chasing me. Dong, 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 dong. And so I finally go to Dan, who's cooking, of course, because that's what Dan does. And save me. And he's like, Jeff, leave Teresa alone, okay? She's seen it. That's great. And so he did. So again, I'm glad to hear all of your memories. And heck, I haven't even known Jeff long enough to have hair. He, was always a shaved head since I've known him. It hasn't been that long, but every memory we had, every barbecue, every shootout or camping or whatever, it all really, if not making me laugh, put a good smile on my face. Those memories are good ones. And I'm glad to have known him. So I think Jeff would love it if Dan had something to share. Nothing like putting you on the spot. Yeah. I know you got it.
I can't say the stories I have about Jeff.
Can't say that one. You can't say that one.
Shaking.
I don't know. Jeff was my brother. Everywhere we went, people thought we were twins. I don't know.
That's water. It helps.
I don't know what to say. I love the guy. I miss him. I can't do it.
It's okay.
Is there anybody else who would like to come up? Okay, I'm going to tell a quick story about Jeff. And I don't know which one to tell because there's so many of them. I've known Jeff for, I have to say, at least 45 years. That's a long time to have somebody in your life. He was like a second brother. Probably even better the one that's standing up there. Jeff and I, we did a lot of stuff together. Skiing, camping, shooting, dancing, singing. It's really hard to think of one good one, but there's one that when Jeff would talk about me to his friends or people that he met, he's like, "Oh, my friend Pete, we did this." Well, the one story that he'd like telling, one of two, is we went up to Timberline Lodge. He was trying out for the ski team, I believe, or not ski team, sorry, ski instructor, and he had an old '68 Jeep. And when I talked about the black tape, this Jeep did not have a hard top. It had a soft top, and that was it. So Jeff's like, "All right, well, we're going up to Timberline. We need to enclose this." So we took black tape and wrapped the roll bar in the back behind the seat, cut a hole in it, and took clear visqueen plastic and put that in there and taped it up with black tape. So Jeff went through a lot of black tape. Anyway, we were coming back down Timberline Road, and the Jeep had a lot of torque in it, and there's a vehicle in front of us that kept hitting the brakes, and the old Jeeps like that don't have power brakes. So Jeff's very tenderly pushing on the brakes, trying to keep from running into this person. Well, we start coming around the corner, all of a sudden I see us doing this. We're doing a 360 down Timberline Road, and I look out the window, go, "Jeff, watch that pole." He's like, "Okay." Just that calm. Two turns, and we straightened out and went down the road. So, like I said, there's a lot of memories and a lot of stories about Jeff that I could talk about all day. So I miss him. I love him. And he's going to be missed deeply.
Right, but better put the feedback on.
All right. Again, on behalf of the family, again, thank you for coming out today. We'd like to invite you to stick around. We have some food that Dan has prepared for us. And please share your stories among each other and in the family. So, thank you.
Thank you.